this is King Madi, and I just spoke my truth on Afrobeat Intelligence.
Afrobeats Intelligence Podcast.
Afrobeat Intelligence, democratizing African music.
Okay. I don't know how to start this. But it's good to see you. So this is a special edition of the Afrobeats Intelligence Podcast. We're calling this the Afrobeats Time Capsule. Mm-hmm. So what we're doing is we're trying to create a time capsule for sponsored by Oraimo, of course. We're trying to create this time capsule for different stages of Afrobeat, where we're coming from, where we are, and where we're headed. I think you're really leading the part where we're headed.
Oh, that's amazing. That's really sweet to say. Thank you.
And thank you for your work. Thank you for your work. I discovered you when you began to garner, when your song Ole began to garner like a lot of like public applause. The streams were shooting up.
Yeah.
The music was super. And I'm like, who is this? And to now discover that you're young. And you came in at a time when you came in before you turned 18.
Yeah.
When did you start professionally?
I mean, it kind of depends on what exactly you mean, because the first song I put out professionally, which is C Finish, was when I was 16.
Yeah.
But then, I got signed, and then I put out Ole and some other tracks in between, and then American Love and so on. So leading up to today, and now I'm 18. So that's kind of like the age thing.
Cool. Is that something you get a lot within the space?
I mean, there's always like conversations about my age. It like has its pros and its cons, but like I don't really be listening.
Okay, but what would you say is the pro?
I mean, obviously the fact that I get to do it for a longer time without having to retire or have complications, because I have other priorities. I have a long time of making music.
Yeah.
Also, I would say like agility. Agility.
Okay, so you're agile.
Yeah. And then like just I don't know. I feel like that's it. There's more, but yeah, that's all I can think of right now.
So Afrobeats used to be in a different place. So I've been here for 10 years.
Wow.
No, this is my 11th. Yeah. Damn.
That's crazy. That's more than half my life.
So I've been here for like, so I came in here I came into Lagos in 2013.
Okay.
But 2014 was when I decided to say, okay, cool, I'm going to hone into music because I love music and I love journalism then.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And since then, I've seen things change. And around that period was when younger people, the industry started opening up to younger people. Because Afrobeats were in the dark ages for so long. And then by the time people could get a semblance of an industry, they were already mid to late 20s, 30s. And then, but with Whiskey, things changed because he was the youngest to make it then. And that's one of the reasons why he was special. But after then, we started having younger people. Yeah. At some point, Rema came in. And now, if you're not 17, 16, it will be hard for people to scout you.
I don't think so. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know. But that's wild.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
It is, yeah. Except once you cross, and this is a back-end conversation, so once you cross 25, the only reason why someone would still put like a lot more on you is if what you're bringing to the table at that point is like super special. So I'm happy you're doing this.
I never thought about it like that. That's crazy.
Well, yeah.
Wow.
So breaking into the space at the point that you did, what was your first impression of the industry, especially before you entered and after you got signed?
That's a deep question, because what I thought it was quite different. I really thought I really thought there were a lot of expectations and priorities and things that people had to do or connections that people had to get to some certain point. So I had like my own imaginary description of what the industry would look like. And when I just kind of like got in, it's just like everyone just minding their business. I'm like, damn, okay. Like it's such a peaceful space and troublesome. Depends on where you're at, to be honest, because I'm very introverted when I'm not like with my people, like in the music, in the studio or something. So people like me, I don't have problem. So because of that, like I feel like the industry is just really like chill, is welcoming. But before that, I thought there was like a lot of controversies. There's a lot of things going in. I don't know if there is still, but like it's chill. I feel like it's just regular.
And navigating the space.
Yeah.
It's given you, so one of the things I see in the space is when people come in, it makes specific demands of you. Like we were just talking now about how you have like this long-running enmity with sugar.
Yeah, facts.
So that you don't touch sugar at all.
Not like at all, but I have like boundaries with sugar because my mom set those boundaries because she's like, no. And based on the fact that I might get addicted to like, because I travel all the times, I need stuff on like to get a drink on my way and everything. So she knows I have access to getting drinks anytime. So she's like, no sugar when you're home. It's just rehearsal, water, and just like healthy beverages. But it's all just so I can have like proper durability on stage and, you know.
Drip, so you could perform a lot longer.
Yeah.
And when you look at your performances, when you started, what's the difference between when you started and now?
I mean, I used to perform just one song, and I would say like the excitement was a lot more then because I was not used to like getting that much like people know who I am or even not know who I am but love my music. It's just like getting on stage and just hearing people sing your words that you wrote in the studio right back to you. It's so overwhelming. Now I'm kind of getting used to it, I would say, in a way. So it's like I kind of miss like the original excitement, but I get those excitement every time I travel and perform in like foreign cities and states. I'm like, oh, wow, this is crazy. So I feel like the difference is just the shock and the excitement, but everything's, and obviously the fans have grown way, way bigger from when it was just Ole. Now it's like American Love and other songs. So yeah.
I think you've seen us finish.
Yes. That might be.
I think you have, because I once had a conversation with this guy once. So the way people interact way people approach cultures when they leave their home culture, like for Black Bones, he told me the only time he's able to be a normal human being is outside Nigeria. Because outside there, nobody comes to him. Yeah. He can stay on the street and eat his food and just live his life. But over here, he steps out, he is Black Bones immediately.
Obviously.
You were in Berlin last week.
Yeah.
How was that experience?
Cultural shocks, I would say.
In what way?
I mean, literally almost everything is written in Dutch. So it was hard, like language barrier.
In German?
I was in Berlin. So I was just like, I don't know. But I loved the people. They were really nice and they were really patient with, so when you found someone that could speak English, they really wanted to like understand you. I'm like, sorry. I feel like that was the cultural shock. I'd never been in a place where it was language dominated. Yeah. And, you know, it's like English is just general. So I was like, wow, this is crazy for me. But, you know, I loved the music. Really. I loved the ambience. I loved the people. It was really good. And the food is pretty good too.
Interestingly, I've never been in a country that wasn't English. Yeah. I think
that was a shock for me too.
I think I'd be lost just walking down the streets and I can't read a signboard.
Yeah, oh my God. I was like, what?
Did you feel handicapped?
I felt so like I just didn't belong. 100%.
But your music did belong.
Yeah.
Your music did belong. When did you start working outside this market?
The Nigerian market?
Yeah.
I think my first introduction to anything outside Nigerian market was Buju's tour.
Yeah.
Benson had gone on a South American tour, I think.
Yeah.
North American tour? I think it was
North American.
North American tour.
We saw North America more.
And he took me along, and that was my first time like going to America in general. And obviously, like, in my head, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to, they don't have to know me. They don't have to know my music. I'm just going to try to entertain the crowd. But weirdly and surprisingly enough, they knew my music. And I was like, wow.
Whoa.
This is life-changing. So, yeah, affected me positively.
And something that always happens, or that, from reports, people say the first time they climb the stage and then people sing their songs back at them. Like, just sing their songs back at them. Like, it feels like a drug. It feels like something electric passes through you.
Yeah.
And it's someone described it as a mixture of like shock and fear and happiness. What was yours? If you specifically like pull out the emotions you felt, what was it?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, like, even if you're like sleepy and you're extremely tired, and you're just on stage, there's just this adrenaline rush from being in charge. Because when you're on stage, you're in charge. You can start the song again, you could reverse it. It doesn't matter how you want to take it. The fans are gonna want to sing it with you again and again.
True.
And it's just like being in control, seeing people just like wait for you to do something, and scream, and you're just like, wow. I'm the one you're doing all of that for. So it's just it's an overwhelming, like I said, like you said, fear, shock, happiness. And
the gratitude of seeing like the things you create in your tiny corner have such an impact. So
that's crazy.
It is. It is. Yeah. I remember the first time I ever did something that went public. And that was in on different stages. Let's say the mainstream one. I think that was in 2018.
Oh, wow.
So I've done a lot of things that have gone, but the first time I ever said, okay, this country looks at me now, or looks at the things I do. 2018, I had done a 3-part investigative piece into the end of Triple MG. Ianya Techno.
Oh, yeah. I'll take it. Okay.
Yeah, Ianya Techno, all of that. I just did the 3-part piece. Why it didn't work out, why the label split. And it went farther than I thought it would. Became a dominant conversation. The first time my work had become such a trending conversation on social media. I was happy because I wrote the second part in Pidgin English.
That's crazy.
4,000 words of Pidgin English.
Wow.
And people read it and discussed it in Pidgin.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I felt special. And so your creativity.
Yeah.
You talk a lot about, I listen to your music and there's something heartfelt about everything. It's like you substitute everything, whether everything becomes your heart, even the way you...
That's sweet.
Yeah, everything. Everything becomes, it's like listening to someone's heartbeat. That's how I feel when I listen to your music. Honestly. Because that's why it hits me. Because I'm like, okay, that's why I can personalize it. Where do you create from?
So with like making music with me, 80% of the time now, I'm usually with my friend. His name's Wade. He's a guitarist.
Wade.
Shout out
Wade.
Shout out to Wade. He's a guitarist. He and I made Ole and Vision and so many other amazing songs. And for me, like, the process is quite easy because I'm comfortable. I have to be comfortable first. And because I've known him for forever, I'm comfortable enough to like make mistakes and choose the wrong words and try things and fail, because when you're creating music, some words are not going to sit right with you and you're going to be like, oh God, I don't know what to put in here. But if you're not comfortable, you'd be scared of like making changes because you don't want to be embarrassed. So I feel like comfort is a very fundamental
part
point,
of creativity.
of creativity. And then you have to like kind of have a lead to where you're going, because I always want to know.
What is a lead?
It's kind of like, where are we going with the song? What's the topic? What are we going to be talking about? And we can't go off the topic because it just, like, there's nothing to it anymore. And so for that, I like my songs to most oftentimes be like storytelling songs.
Yeah.
So where you can like envision what's happening while listening to it. And I feel like most times I do justice to that. Like songs like Ole and American Love, I meant them to be like a story of some type of scenarios. And with Ole was like my attempt to write a love song, because I apparently was not like great in that
and,
area.
and love songs. What were you great in before then?
I had made a song before then, and then I called my mommy to pick me up from the studio, and she was like, "Oh no, we're gonna take a bit of time." So I'm like, "Okay, let's just do something else." And I wanted to make a love song,
Yeah.
so I wrote the lyrics because I was trying to piss Wade off. Like, I was trying to just be funny, and he saw it and he was like, "That's what we're recording." I'm like, "No," I'm like, "No, I'm just joking."
So your first hit came from you trying to piss another person off.
I was just joking. Like, I was not serious with the lyrics at all. Like, I didn't think like he was going to actually make me record it. And when he was like, "Yeah, let's do it," and then I recorded it, I sent it to my team because I send every like song I record to them. And Miss Joy, she was like, "Oh, this is a hit. But you're gonna correct a couple of words." So I feel like everyone was nervous about the lyrics. I was nervous about the lyrics, but at the end of the day, we just like trusted our gut and just let it out.
And when did you know you were right?
I didn't think the song would go big, if I'm being honest. I thought like a couple people would enjoy it. I didn't think Buju would want to be on it. I didn't think like, there was just so much that I didn't really believe in when it came to the song because I hadn't had like a global hit like that before. That was my first like main song that got me to a couple million downloads, and it was like my first hit. I would say that. I feel like that's my first proper hit. So I didn't really like believe in it enough until it proved itself, and I was like, wow, people
Mind
really
blown.
like this stuff. Okay, so yeah.
Well, isn't it interesting as a creative that, and isn't it funny how the universe works? I like to think of ideas. I learned this somewhere, but I like to think of ideas as a life form on its own because you don't know where it comes from.
Fact.
Like, I like to think it's a life form that exists, and people think I'm weird when I describe this, but it stays in the ether all around us.
Wow.
Like, think about this. You're here, you have an idea for something, and then that idea it just hits you from nowhere. It might not be inspired by anything you've watched, whatever. It just comes to you, and then you hold for the ones you express. I think it's a life form seeking to like join us in this world. The ones you express, they take their life and do their thing. Yeah. Then the ones you don't express, and maybe you're like, "Oh, this is not ready." Maybe you second guess yourself, because that happens a lot to me. You second guess yourself, or you're like, "Okay, this is not the time." You would still see a version, or sometimes exactly that idea pop out via another vessel.
Yeah, all the time. That's true.
Yeah, and so in my head, I'm thinking, it's like life forms. They're just looking for who to express, to push them out into the world. And if you reject them when they come to you, they'll go look for another person.
That's deep.
Real
deep.
You've never thought about it like that?
I never thought about it like that. I never thought about it in general. But that's deep.
Now you think I'm weird. So, but with creativity on its own, you work with Leeds.
Yeah.
You work with Wade. You still work with Wade?
Yeah.
How's that bond?
I mean, it's strong. He's family to me at this point because he had been working with me before, like the Fame, or even when I just moved to Lagos. He DM'd me on Instagram. He was like, "Oh, I see like your covers," because I used to post covers.
Yeah.
He's like, "We should work," and then I told him, "Yeah, I'm 14, so like, do you mind if my mom drops me off?" He's like, "Nah, it's cool." So my mom would drop me. We would record, post, and then we kept working. And because we've been friends since then till now, I just feel the utmost comfort and best of myself when I'm working there.
And you guys have grown together.
Yeah, 100%.
Do you guys have any little celebration or ritual when you hit a milestone?
I mean, like, we usually like call each other and laugh at other people. I feel like that's something. Like, yeah. I don't know. I feel like that's something, but yeah, it's family to me.
Interesting. And with writing, you're very writing heavy. Yeah, that's forward. Like I said, the heart speaks, and for you to speak and speak convincingly, it has to come from a real place. and what conveys that are words. And you've been good with words.
Thank you.
Thank you. Did you, growing up, you read a lot?
I mean, I would say
Okay.
I listened to a whole lot of rap music growing up for the sake of storytelling. Like, I love when I'm listening to a song and reading a book at the same time, because it's like you just keep going and you're trying to figure out what happens at the end. I love when people do that. That's why my favorite artist is Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
Because like I'm just like his 80% of his music is storytelling or
Yeah.
rapping like about, Black and everything. So I love songs like that, and I just like storytelling in general. I like poetry, I like literature. So all in all, it just influences my writing and type of things I talk about in my songs.
And the thing with writing, a lot of people in this market, or rather, it's sort of conventional knowledge that the music we make here isn't dependent on writing. Do you think that the writing isn't such a strong part of it?
Yeah, I feel like it's optional. I feel like music is an emotion. That's just like how I feel. So it's either the beat or the vibe is moving you, or you're interested in. Most times you don't even understand what people are saying. Some people that speak in like other dialects, you might not understand it, but you like the way it sounds. So I don't feel like lyrics is as important as it should be.
Yeah.
But that's how I feel about it too. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And with the structure of writing, someone told me writing obeys all the rules. Writing music obeys all the rules of storytelling. So who, what, why, and where and how.
That's deep.
Yeah, and the chorus is the why.
Okay, I can see that happening here.
So if you can start off and then you take people on a journey, a verse, break. But when you get to the hook,
chorus.
the hook, that's where everything makes sense. Because let's do a little this thing with one of your songs. Choose one song.
American Love, I guess.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. With American Love, it goes the hook. I want to.
I knew I picked that one.
Why did you pick that
I
one?
want to see how, because okay.
Okay,
Let's go.
let me connect it to this, and then we'll listen to it just briefly. Or before that, or rather, listen to it with this.
Okay.
Yeah, this is amazing. American Love. Yeah, this is the Space Buds. It's something that we're working with. I especially like it because I've just used it to replace my personal headphones.
Word.
Yeah, and the
I
sound
like
is
the
great.
packaging.
It's so slick. It's so slick. You can look at it like and you slide it off.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's
like a little makeup.
yeah.
I don't know how to.
No, just push it up.
Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I look freaking weird. Oh,
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. So that's what I use now during my runs. You could plug it in. Let's listen to American
All right.
Love. I would
Let's go.
listen to mine from here.
Travel around the world, I know cost. But if I climb the train, it don't pass you. Travel around the world, no, I ain't found you. And if I catch you plane, it don't catch. And I hope you gon' fly away today, yeah, I hope you gon' fly away today, but you know, say I fly. So no, they rejecting me. Oh, I'm calling, I did try. But you know, they getting me. You go like fly, yeah. Allow me to spoil you with my body. You don't cover mine.
What is it?
I'm trying to see your theory.
Me too.
Yeah. I'm like,
And I'ma put you down, that you never met that guy. You go wife up, and I'ma put you down.
Did you?
this was not the song for the theory.
Yes.
I know. That's why I said, I set you up.
Why you're a horrible person.
I was like, this one? Nah.
If you were a teacher,
I love this so much.
yeah. Thank you.
Gonna have it back.
It's really nice. If you were a teacher, I think you'd be one of those teachers that would set the worst exam question.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like I would.
I can see it now. I bring up a theory and then you're like, let me bring the
thought
one.
about it because if I gave you a lay, like you would have your points. So I'm like, no. Let me give you the one song.
So unfair.
But your theory is kind of there because like in the verse, it's like talking about basically looking for love or looking to spend the rest of your life with this one person, and then in the chorus, it's like you haven't met anyone that you could put a ring on. So I'm like, oh, I get it. I get your theory. It doesn't go 100% for this song, but there's some truth to it. I'll give you that. Yeah.
You take this round. Excellent. Okay, so you've mentioned in the breadth of this, the length of this conversation so far, you've mentioned your mom, let's say, ballpark figure 10 times. Yeah,
Have
you have.
I?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yes, you have.
Okay.
You have.
I was texting her like right now.
How's that relationship?
I mean, it's amazing. She's my muse. She's
a muse.
Yeah, she's my muse. She's also like, I feel like my number one reason for doing music, if I'm being honest, because unlike the stereotypical African parent upbringing, I was actually raised way different. She was the one that...
What was different?
I mean, unlike people, African parents, I would prioritize that because they always like prioritize education found in school more than anything else because they believe in stability. I feel like their theory is if you go to school and you graduate and you have like a degree, your life is more stable, or it's more like likely to get stable because you're going to get a job and get minimum wage and then have a house. They just want the regular like procedure so they know you're safe. But the thing about music is it's risky because you might put your all into it and nothing comes out. Like you can invest your time, your money, and you could just end up being left because there's no guarantee of if it's going to work or not. So I feel like the thought of that just scares them. So they don't like to like encourage that unless you have something that's certain on the side. Yeah. So, but the thing is with my mom, before I even liked music, like in general, I knew I could sing, but I wasn't like in love with it too much. She already knew like, okay, this is what you're going to do. So she would take me to ballet classes.
Ballet, for real?
Ballet.
You grew up in Lagos. Where'd you grow up? Benin. And there was ballet in Benin.
Yeah, there was multiple ballet schools in Benin.
In Benin?
Multiple. What? Why are you being?
No,
I find
it. Okay, this is why I find it interesting. I know we have pockets of like niche art in the country, but when I think of it, and maybe because I'm not extremely educated about Nigeria.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I think about spaces that aren't, in Lagos, it's a metropolitan city. There's a lot more money here in this city, so people can afford to create niche, a lot of niche things because they know they could find a way to make it make sense economically. But in places like Benin, a lot of Nigeria's civil servant states.
I feel like you're overthinking.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, like,
but Benin,
it wasn't that deep. Like I feel like you could just be a girl in your that knows ballet and knows the fundamentals and open a dance school, and parents would bring their kids and just be like, it was easy.
At what age did you go to ballet?
I feel like 7 was when I got registered in ballet class. So she registered me in ballet class. She took me to choir practice, obviously. So I would perform in churches. I'll perform in school, obviously, and all of that. So she was basically like the one pushing for me to like get all of that down to like the stage frights and everything. I'd have passed all those stages by the time I was like done with primary school because she was just...
Whoa.
Yeah, she was... there are times when I would have like some classes and she would take me out and just give them like, oh, she's not feeling well today. And she would take me to perform in a certain... Because she knew, like, she kind of had it at the back of my mind that this school, you're not ending up here, I know. And I'm not even like the type of person that was really encouraging because sometimes I'm like, leave me alone. I don't want this. I feel like later on as I grew up, I finally like asked myself, like, if she sees something this much that she's trying to push so much for, then there must be something, because my mom went out of her way completely to make sure that like I had every training I needed to be like a proper artist. And to be honest, that's why I said like she's my muse and she's the reason I'm doing music in general. Yeah.
Shout out to your mom.
Shout out to her.
Shout out to your mom. Because that's interesting. when you talk to her, have you guys ever had a conversation about, you guys, of course, you guys have had lots of conversations, but about her influences and why she had this very specific, non-conventional approach to raising you?
I mean,
what informed her?
I feel like aside from the obvious religious reason and just her being a very extremely prayerful and educated person, I feel like she just looked at it from as a realist. It's like, I have a daughter that could sing and that's really like confident when it comes to public speaking. And she's too young to know what she wants now, right? So I'm going to encourage her in her talent. Like, she was just trying to be that mom that wasn't seeing the future, but she just wanted to make sure, like, okay, I'm going to harness your talent to its fullest potential. And she did with me, and I was compliant. And I feel like at some point when I started like really having passion for music, I'd understood like, oh, she was preparing me for all of this. And, you know, she's just like, she's been behind me in every way possible. So I guess she was a realist. She saw a talent in a child, and instead of just forcing me to go back to focusing on my studies and stuff, she decided to encourage it.
She's also a risk taker.
Yeah, she is.
The way I'd look at it.
Oh, she is. Oh,
because if you...
She is.
Because both of you are taking risks.
Yeah.
Both of you. Because for you, the risk is...
I was following her. No. She was the one taking the risk, to be honest. Anything she was saying, I was just doing it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And what age did you think you finally found your own passion for it?
I feel like I fell in love with songwriting, but I didn't like being in the forefront. So when I moved to Lagos, when I was done with secondary school and I moved to Lagos, I started songwriting as a professional way of earning money and like on the side, because I was supposed to just study and take like a gap year and then enter university. That was the plan, like LASU or Unilag or something.
Yeah.
So I'm like home and I'm doing songwriting gigs and I'm earning and some stuff.
Oh, you started making money.
Yeah, because of that. So I was making like small cash and stuff. So based on all of that, I just really liked songwriting. I liked being able to write songs and hear people interpret my songs, and, you know, meeting these big artists and just being like, wow, this is huge. I thought that was it for me, really. But, you know, then I feel like with TikTok, when I started posting covers and when I posted my first original, which was See Finish, that blew up, I started like understanding the point of me being in the forefront of what I write. It's like, it's so important to know that it's coming from me and what I mean by what I'm writing. So I'm like, okay, now I really get my passion for music. I feel like that was it when I blew up. Mm-hmm.
So being songwriting.
Yeah.
Because one would think you just picked up the mic straight up.
At years.
No way.
It's a practice, yeah.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Blows my mind. I'm just thinking about, so you had a career as a songwriter first, before music. Yeah. In what way I know, because in what way, in terms of creatively, when you write songs for other people, and now when you now write songs knowing that you would have to interpret them yourself, does that in any way alter the makeup of your songwriting?
I feel like one of the major differences is I would almost never be satisfied with how some people would interpret my lyrics, because the thing about songwriting is, if you're a songwriter, especially in Lagos, you know that when you write a song and you try to sell it to an artist, most times they change a couple lyrics to suit them more.
Yeah.
Like they try to sing it their own way. And it might be fabulous for them, but because you know what you meant when you wrote it, you just start not, like, I don't know. But then you paid me.
Something rubs you off wrongly.
Yeah. I can't talk again. You give me my money, so I have to just look the other way. But with that, I feel like now knowing that I'm writing for me and I can just say what I actually feel and be in front of the mic and sing it, I feel like it's more genuine, it's more authentic. I'm more comfortable and confident with that. So it's kind of the difference.
And another thing that happens also is how making music and being successful at it, and also interacting with the music industry here in Lagos, how it affects your humanity. Because people, a lot of people come into the space and they have a different makeup, personal makeup. And then they're in the space. Some people would say, hey, I would never drink. Some people would say, I don't smoke. I remember an artist, very popular artist. When I met him first, he hadn't blown, all of that. And he looked like he just fell from God's lap. I'm serious. He was so angelic. There was a halo on his head.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it was. And you could literally feel the innocence when you speak to them and when they create. But then that person disappears for a few years. When I mean disappear, like I didn't talk to them for a few years. And then the next time I was sitting across them and we were reminiscing, this guy had become an ebon.
I don't even know what that means, but I already feel like I get it. That's crazy.
Yeah, he had become an ebon. We're downing shots. We're doing the entire thing. And I poked him. I'm like, hey, who spoiled you? And it's like the space. So I'm wondering, how has being successful like interacted with your humanity?
I mean, I'm extremely religious, right?
Yeah.
And if you notice the way that I dress, the way that I present myself in terms of music has like a lot of tomboyish feel to it.
Yeah.
80% of the time. I'm becoming a little bit more feminine now, but like has more,
flowing hair.
so now like really easy and shit. But like back
Isn't
then
it?
it was like, yeah, I feel like it has something to do with my religion and how I kind of interpret the Bible.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like a lot of people tell me every time I go to the interviews, like, oh, we've met people like you. Like, don't worry, we've met your type. In a couple years, when you know you're you're gonna become But all I could do is just pray for my future self and hope that like all of those proclamations don't come to pass, because I have like a vision for who I want to be.
Yeah.
And the way that I see the world in general, I don't want to like become part of the world in my own sense, because I feel like I'm a very unique human being and I don't want to have to like sink in to please any audience at all, if that is what is recommended for them to accept my music. Because sometimes people have like ideas of what they want to see.
Yeah.
Like they think of a girl and they want to see something very like provocative or something very feminine, and that's okay. Like there are multiple ways. I'm never against it, but like I also want to be myself and be appreciated for being myself. But you know, I don't think it has affected my humanity in any way. But I hope it still doesn't when, you know, I blow properly.
Well, it's interesting to have to create those barrier, those personal, I call them boundaries.
Yeah.
Those personal boundaries, especially when you're going into a space where that makes these demands of you.
Yeah.
And sometimes inadvertently. It's not deliberate. It's just culture. They sell it as culture. And isn't that hard, having to always ward off or protect yourself?
I mean, it's mentally stressful to have conversations concerning me, about me, from other people, about what they want me to be like. I feel like it's mentally stressful because I've never had to deal with people's opinions like ever.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, it's an overwhelming feeling knowing that now I owe people like consent or an explanation to what I do when I've never really cared, if I'm being honest. I'm like very comfortable in my space. I don't want to become that type of person to please anyone. And I plan on keeping it that way. So it's just mentally stressful, but everything else is calm.
Okay. And you use God is your anchor.
Yeah, 100%.
And how do you reconcile being in a space that people are very
Judgy?
touchy, touchy and judgy.
Yeah.
When it comes to when an artist says, I connect with God or I lead with God, do you ever feel the need to shrink your faith?
Oh no. Something happened I think 2 weeks ago or something when I came back from, oh my God, my voice. When I came back from Germany, I had like a video, I posted a video on my story where I was talking about God. And I think like the next day I had lost like 5,000 followers.
No way.
On my Instagram.
No way.
And then blogs were like posting that King Madi lost these amount of followers on Instagram for talking about God, yada, 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 yada. And I was like, whoa, that's crazy. But I got like 10K back because people were like, girl, you, nah. So I was just like, this is beautiful to see, you know, but I don't really care.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've always wondered about why that was a thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
And it's global.
Mm-hmm.
It's global.
The hate is global.
I remember another example happened recently when, you know, your colleague, Thames, she put up something and then somebody tried to interpret it with Yoruba pantheon, with the Yoruba pantheon. And then she shows up and says, I lead with God. Yeah, it was very like, this is from God. And it became it was shocking to me. It became such a big topic on the internet. People were like, why would you say God? Why would you say God? And I'm like, but that's her faith. But it makes me happy that you are at this place. And especially, like, you hold on to that. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, you recently dropped the deluxe.
Yeah.
For King Madi. Well done.
Thank you.
And 10 records. Beautiful. So, for you, why did you go the deluxe route instead of another EP?
To be honest, I don't even know. There was really no like inspirational reason behind any of it, to be honest. I just saw the project and I thought about releasing another project, but then I'm like, so many people have not moved on from this project. I haven't moved on from the project. I want to do a deluxe where I just add in 2 new songs and 1 special song featuring Kiss Daniel, another special song, just like to chip it in and re-put it out. And, you know, that was just what I wanted to do and led with it, and it's going amazing. So.
You did amazing with Cleo.
Thank you.
With Chloe, rather.
Chloe, yeah.
You did amazing with Chloe. That shocked me when he came out. It shocked me in a good way.
Shocked a lot of people too.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Did it shock you at the initial stage? How was it for you?
It was okay. I was happy about the collaboration. I was not pro collaboration at first when they pitched it to me, like, oh, do you want to have a feature on Vision? I'm like, Vision has no, who do you think we're gonna feature? So obviously I like to limit things a lot and to my disadvantage. So I didn't know who they wanted on it. They had like a bunch of pitches. I'm like, how are we going to get an R&B singer on the song? Because with Vision, I don't think it's as versatile for like anyone to jump on it. It has to be someone that actually is inclined with R&B.
Yeah.
And my team, they DM'd Chloe's team because we're both under Columbia.
Yeah.
So it was easy. They DM'd Chloe's team. She sent the verse. I heard it. I'm like, oh, okay, who is this? And then she's like, that's like Chloe Bailey. And I was super excited. I was happy about it. And everything went on. I was glad people got to see her version of Vision.
Of Vision. And the video shoot.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
It was nice.
It was nice. It was nice. It was nice. And so, since you were in pro collaboration, but you were pro collaboration with Ole.
No, still.
For real?
Yeah. Ole was not made for a Buju verse.
Yeah.
I had created the song already to put out, but Buju was vibing to C Finish in the car, and I think my friend was the one that told me, oh, Buju Benson is vibing to your song. I was going crazy. And I was like, let me text him and just say thank you, just so he knows like that I appreciate the fact that he gave me that publicity. And so I texted him. I didn't expect him to respond, but, he responded. He was like, let's link in the studio. I'm like, no. Because I don't know. I don't want to mess it up. This is the first time I'm physically meeting with a big artist for the purpose of creating music together. So I'm like, I don't know what to do. I was so scared. And so I played him Ole. And I was really scared when he said that he wanted to jump on it, because I'm like, you sure you don't want to like hear anything else? Because, he's like, yeah, that's the one. I scrapped out my second verse. He went straight to the mic, recorded his verse in like 10 minutes. It was so quick. He just kept going and he knew what he wanted. So if he heard something he didn't like, he was going to do it again. He's going to do the backups again. I'm like, I was just shocked at his professionalism, because I was learning so much from how he worked. And that was kind of just how I came. Mm-hmm.
And you know, you have how many collaborations now? There's Keys, there's Chloe, there's Keys, there's Chloe, there's Benson.
There's Joe Boy.
Yeah, you did Joe Boy too.
There's Chike from his album.
Yeah, the new one.
There's Victoni on Basket Mouth's album.
Yeah, and
I think.
yeah, and yes, and I remember that song.
Yeah.
I remember that song. I haven't played it in a while.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. Now you've reminded me. I'll just cue it in for my personal enjoyment because I know that. So I the way my brain works is weird. It's a neurodiverse brain. So the way it works is weird. I don't hold on to specifics. I hold on to feelings.
Okay.
So if something makes me because the only way I can remember something is if it has a strong emotional pull on me, whether negative or positive. I might not remember a person, but if I remember how that person made me feel, if I see them 50 years from now, I'd still jump on them and hug them. Because this is how you made me feel. And that's the data I've stored. So I remember that. But doing all of this, it hasn't in any way altered how your reluctance to embrace collaborations. It hasn't altered it. Why? Why did you have that?
I just think a lot of things are unnecessary 80% of the time. I feel like I don't know, and I'm always scared that I might, because I'm such a people pleaser and an introvert, I might just like compromise in order to make you feel better when I'm not really excited about your verse. Luckily for me, I haven't had that, but that's one of my biggest fears, like hearing an artist do something on the second verse and I'm just like, I don't know if this is it, and because I don't want to like be the person that's like, oh, I don't think this fits and everybody else is like, that fits. So I'm just really scared of that happening. So for that reason, I like to focus on me and just do my song from the start to the end, like American Love and other tracks, just like go all out.
And so far you've been amazing.
Thank you.
You've been extremely amazing.
Thank you.
And when you make these records, I know you lead songwriting leads, of course, songwriting leads, and then everything works. When do you know a record is finished? Do you get an alarm bell in your head?
I feel like when I know a record is completely finished, when do I know? To be honest, I don't think I ever I'm convinced, because I always feel like, okay, I've recorded a song, cool, we keep it until we bring it up for consideration of release. I keep going back to it, and all of a sudden I have multiple ideas of things to change. And then everybody's just reminding me, you're overthinking it. It sounds really good. And so because I'm my biggest critic 80% of the time, so I'm just like, I don't know. I just have these ideas and stuff. And so sometimes I overdo it. Sometimes we have to tone it down. But for me, I never really feel complete until it's out and I hear it's like as a song that's out, and I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't need to do all of that. It was great in the first place.
What record do you think you tinkered with the most? Or do you think you've tinkered with the most? The public ones we have.
American Love for sure.
How many revisions?
How many what?
Revisions.
I feel like there were at least 20 different. You have no idea what me and my team went through for American Love, because it was one of the easiest and fastest songs I recorded. I made it in Ghana, and I was just like, yeah, we made it. We were all excited about it. All of a sudden, they're like, oh, that's what's dropping next, and everybody's just like, yeah, I don't know if the drums are good. I don't know if this is fine. I don't know if the beat is. So we're just making different renditions, and one person will like it, one person will not like it. So it was a lot for us, really. Oh my God, I'm so tired.
Sorry, we're almost done.
Really...
we're final stretch. Just 2 more questions or so.
Word? Oh my God, thank you.
Yeah, it's 50. I told you, we've done 10 minutes since the last time. It flies.
Yeah, but basically, that's how it was.
Okay. And now this has happened. Yeah. A lot of good things are happening for you. Yep. You've inspired a lot of good things for yourself. Are you proud of yourself? You stand in the mirror? Do you take time out to appreciate yourself?
I'm grateful that I stuck with God. I feel like that's one of my biggest blessings.
Yeah. because people can be, as creatives, can be hard on yourselves. Yeah. Second guessing all the time, like everything seeming inadequate because it comes from you, no matter what the world's telling you. Because the standards, and you're also a smart person. The standards you set for yourselves has to be higher than everybody else. And people don't see it. A lot of people don't get it.
Facts.
Yeah. Because you're like, no, this is not right. And then the world is saying, or your immediate surrounding, or the people around you are saying, this is perfect. But you know where you're headed. You know when you started this idea, you know where you want to take it. And so, yeah. I'm glad you're proud of yourself.
Thank you.
And then this talk about generations and this talk about generational talk, or how the world likes to classify generations. You're Gen Z. Does the world make you aware of that a lot, or the industry?
In a way, I think like everyone likes to bring it up. Everyone likes to just, in a way, totally.
So you have an album coming. Beautiful.
Thank you.
You've won so much this year. Why did you decide to still put an album?
I feel like to solidify my releases, I feel like an album is going to give me a proper statement.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's a composition of songs that reveal what I am about. And at this stage of my career, I feel like it's a trademark for me. So I feel like it's very important for me to put out my first album this year. So
okay, thank you. I've enjoyed your music. I've enjoyed your music so much, and I will look forward to that album.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for doing this. You've done.
For having me.
Thank you. This was fun.